So our upcoming speaker is someone I'm actually really excited about because when I saw his name, I'm like, oh, I know him. I've studied him. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are really super excited as I am to meet our next speaker. So if you guys know our next speaker, make sure to say a hi, say a I'm excited, comment a I've been looking forward to this because I am, and I'm going to take so many notes from this speech. I'm already flipping my notebook to the next page, clean slate, so we can get started with our next speaker. So he is a recognized global authority and keynote speaker on peak performance and brain training. With over 10 million audio programs sold in 14 languages, he is one of the most listened to voices in the world on personal success. He's the author of several New York Times bestselling books, including Seeds of Greatness, Being the Best, and What I've Read, which is The Winner's Edge. His audio album, The Psychology of Winning, is an all-time best-selling program on self-mastery. With his topic, The New Psychology of Winning, Unleashing the Champion Within, everyone please send clap emojis or any kind of your favorite emojis for our next speaker, Mr. Denis Waitley. Hello, Dennis.
Hey, it's great to be with you.
Hey, I'm a little bit I'm gonna admit I'm a little bit fangirling a little bit because, like I said, you're one of the people I really look up to, so I'm really excited for your speech.
Well, my name is Waitley because I'm a day late Waitley. I was supposed to be yesterday, and here I am today.
Well, you're still here, so we would like to thank you for that. For even though with a delay, you're still here. You're still going to be speaking to a lot of people, a lot of Filipinos, a lot of Asians who are really looking forward to hearing you talk, to hearing you what you're about to say. So I will not hold you for long. And as Fabio will say, Dennis, you are now free.
Well, thank you very much. 2020 was supposed to be the year of vision. 2020 was the Olympic year, and for many years, you can see, I still have my Olympic 5 rings here. For many years, I was chairman of psychology for the United States Olympics, and my job was to train all American Olympians mentally for high performance. 2020, we were supposed to be next month in Japan for the Olympic Games, where everyone comes together to see how good they are against world-class standards. And 2020 also became the most challenging year since World War II. I've spent a lot of time in the Philippines, a lot of time in Asia. I've been all over China, speaking in Wuhan and 50 cities in China, all over the world for the last 50 years. And this is the most challenging time since World War II in my life. But I'd like to take the 5 Olympic rings that bring together the 5 continents of the world and share with you at the summit why I'm so optimistic about the future. I'd like to give you the best of me. I've been around for a long time. I've been through World War II. I've been through the Korean War. I've been through the Vietnam War. I've been through the Cold War. I've been through polio. I've been through all the epidemics. And now I'm ready for 2020 clear vision. I'm ready to give you the first Olympic ring. If the Olympic rings were attitudes, if they were values, the very first Olympic ring would be the inner winner. The inner winner is belief. And I want to reinforce your belief, especially in yourself. The most important opinion you'll ever have is the one you have of yourself. No eyes look at you with as much criticism as your own eyes. No voice is as powerful in building you up or tearing you down as your own voice. You know yourself better than anyone in the world. You're the expert on yourself, but you've got to be your winning Olympic coach. You've got to be the Olympian within. Winners believe in their dreams, and that's all they have to hang on to. And you must say to yourself, given my parents and my background, I'm glad I'm me. I may not be the best looking in the group, but I'm clean. I look my best in any group. And there are a lot of things I can do. Maybe I wasn't born with the same uniform everybody. Maybe I look different, feel different, act different. But I can be a winner. And the most important belief you'll ever have is in your own potential. Not in what you've done, not where you're coming from, what you're capable of and where you're going. So you must look out the front view of your life rather than through the rear view mirror. You must believe that you're as worthy as anyone on this earth to be happy and successful. You must believe that you're as good as the best, but no better than the rest. You must not live by comparison. You must live with your own internal values. Inside each person is an uncut gemstone of potential. The diamond is within, waiting for you to cut and polish. And that's what you need to do, is cut and polish, because the first ring, belief in yourself, the inner winner, you have to be an inner winner instead of an outer shouter. An inner winner is someone who looks inside, not takes a selfie, but looks inside deep to find your interests, your values, your core values, your talents, your background, the things that make you proud of who you are. And I'll ask you one question. During the last 3 months of this terrible challenge that we're going through, what one thing did you do and have you done that makes you proud of yourself during this crisis period? What did you find out about yourself that made you more proud of the way you are and the way you believe and the way you're going forward in your life? You see, when you talk to yourself, you have to talk yourself up. You have to talk in terms of where you're going, not where you're coming from. You have to have a positive explanatory style. And what I mean is, when people ask you how you're doing, you have to be able to say, I'm getting better. I'm solving my problems. I'm taking action. Even if you're like me and you're older and maybe most susceptible to what might happen with the virus, I have to say to people, look, I'm older, I'm vulnerable, I'm self-isolated, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. I've been with nature a lot. I've been listening to music. I've been networking with family. I've always been on the lookout for what I can do that's positive. Instead of saying, why me, I say, try me. So that very first attitude, that belief you have, is the most important thing in your life, because you must believe that you have a passport to your own success. You must believe that you're worthy in your play, and that your worth is not based on past performance. Past performance is simply getting ready, but it's what you're doing right now and every day that's going to make it forward. That's why I've learned to talk to myself as a positive coach. So when I wake up in the morning, I say, morning, Dennis, safe again, let's go. What are you going to do with this day, Dennis? What are you going to do with this day to make every living thing better for having met you on this day? How are you going to help nature, the animals, people, somebody in need? How is your phone call going to give value? And what I do is I try to make each day give more in value than I receive in payment, because I want to be giving the best of me every day. And that's what belief in yourself and the inner winner is. The Olympic athletes train for 1,200 days for one moment of glory. And they have to be at their best game at that one moment, but they have to talk to themselves all the time. And in this short program I'm going to give you, I'm going to try to give you specifics on the best way you can talk to yourself. But when I get out of bed, I say, good morning, let's go. Then the next thing I do is I get clean, I take a power breakfast, and I start hitting the pavement with what's in my bag. My blessings, my achievements, my goals, and I'm ready to go for the day. Because when you're my age, time is the only equal opportunity employer. I only have a certain number. I have 168 minutes to spend every week, and I want to spend those minutes really well. So remember, the inner winner, the Olympian within, you believe in your dream, and that's all you have to hang on to. And you must believe it with so much passion and so much commitment that you'll allow not anyone to distract you from that belief in your potential, not anything that's happened. So failure becomes the fertilizer of success, and failure always becomes a learning experience. And you must seek the opportunity in the crisis because every invention by a man and woman was invented to solve a problem, not to make money. Every billionaire that I know was simply trying to use his or her talent and motivation to solve a problem that he or she saw, and they made money as a byproduct from their passion. So belief and passion and having self-worth are the same. That's ring one. Moving on to the Olympic ring two. One of the most important things I've learned, especially during this crisis time, is how to take personal responsibility for my own life. So I believe in self-determination. I let go and let God, but God allows me to live a good or a bad life depending on my choices. And of all the things an Olympian needs is taking personal responsibility and self-determination. If it is to be, it's up to me. Life is to do it with God, for others, to myself project. I look in the mirror and say, oh, it's you, isn't it, Dennis? Your choices give you logical rewards or consequences. So the law of attraction is really the law of cause and effect. For every action that you take, you get a result. It's called the unfailing boomerang. Whatever I throw out will come back to me in kind. So I always try to give more in value than I receive in payment. And I always try to be proactive instead of reactive. And when this COVID-19 hit, and when all the other things that have been happening, with all the things that are happening in the United States, for very good reason, at least the protests that are looking at the real problem, which is people who are narrow-minded. Personal responsibility for me says, okay, Dennis, you're going to be part of the problem or part of the solution? Are you going to protest or take action? My take has always been to bring my A game. So when things are at their worst in my life, I have to be at my best. Because when things are going well, I coast. I take it more easy. Things are going well for me. But I have to start pedaling in a straight line. And I have to pedal going up, because the only way you can coast in life is going down. So you keep pedaling. So I'm proactive instead of reactive. I'm responsible. I make responses that are solutions instead of responding stunned in my tracks. So fear becomes a sentry. It becomes the alarm that puts me ready to go. It makes me more relaxed, more alert, more ready. And I'm always listening for what I can do, what action I can take to make things better. How can I make my health better? How can I make my self-isolation work? How can I help my children? How can I help my grandchildren? What can I do? And that's why it's so important to take ownership for your outcomes in your life. You must take the ownership of the outcome. From this day forward, no government, no company, no one can ever promise you any kind of security. Everyone in the world is at risk. Instant communication, instant travel, instant virus, good or bad, virus, disease, virus, positive action, instantaneous in the world. So we must be in charge of our health and our future. Personal responsibility. I think there should be a statue of responsibility on Alcatraz to match the Statue of Liberty in New York. You come in as an immigrant, and if you do things and take good choices, you end up successful. If you make bad choices, you end up in Alcatraz or in a self-imposed prison. So I believe there should be a statute of responsibility to match the Statue of Liberty. I make it happen for me. I take the credit of the blame for my position. It's not the government, it's not the circumstance, not my mother and father. Like many of you, I grew up in a poor family, but all speakers say they did. So I may have grown up in a poor family, but I knew from the time I was a little boy that I had to make it happen for myself. We had no money. My mother and father got divorced. The early World War II when I was a boy. the Korean War when I graduated from high school. So I had to become a Navy military pilot when I wanted to become a writer and a speaker. But for 5 years, I had to become a carrier-based nuclear weapons attack pilot. It wasn't my choice, but I chose it because I wanted to protect my country. Here's the point. The point is, if you believe you're worth it, if you believe you have potential, if you believe there's something better for you, you must get behind the wheel of your space shuttle and you must drive that personal responsibility by not looking for other people. Yes, you need their help, but you must take ownership, and that's the responsibility. What I do is use this serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I've done many seminars on that. Accept the unchangeable. Everything that has happened to this moment is history. I cannot change that. What can I change? I can change the way I react or respond to everything that happens. I can choose whether to freeze, panic, worry, get upset, or I can choose to say, wait a minute, what am I going to do? I can choose my next action and the way I handle what has happened to me. I can use failure as a learning experience, as fertilizer. And I can use my dreams to drive me forward. I have the ability to not only accept the unchangeable, but I can change my next thought and action. And the third thing I do is I try to remove myself from the unacceptable. What's unacceptable to me are people who are loud, obnoxious, people who are just yelling but not doing, people who are criticize but are not role models. I'd rather watch a winner than hear one any day. And I would rather take one action in my life than protest against something I don't want. I want to be a role model and example. So that's ring number 2. Ring 1 is believe in your dream when that's all you've got to hang on to. Ring number 2 is personal responsibility or self-determination. And ring number 3 is the awesome power of focus. Every Olympian that I know is focused on incremental steps toward a long-range goal. They have a magnificent obsession. And here's the difference. You can't just do better. You can't just be a billionaire. You can't just have things. You must have a laser focus because the brain is oriented in specific computer terminology. You must give the most marvelous biocomputer ever created, your brain. Your brain is the most marvelous computer, and you must give it a GPS. Your brain is a goal positioning system, better than a global positioning satellite. You crank into your brain where you are right now with what you've got going. You crank into your brain the address you want to go to, the destination. What does it look like? What is the texture? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? And you begin to put into this GPS of yours all of the information that is so passionate, so personal, so precise that the brain can actually visualize with you in detail what you're trying to do. And that's what the new neuroscience has proven to us. Neuroscience has proven that thoughts are traffic, most of them visual, 70% of them negative every day. So most of what you will watch on television will be negative, and much of the input will be negative. So what you must do is put into your brain traffic, thoughts on all the freeways and surface streets that you have. And you must repeat over and over again the precise pictorial, verbal, visual, sensory, olfactory, taste goals that you have. I don't mean doing better next year. I don't mean having a lot of money. I don't mean losing weight. I mean, what's your desired weight? How much money do you need? Where do you want to go? When do you want to do it? I want specific. When you give your brain focus, it's like a laser. It'll cut right through the diamond. It'll cut right through it. So don't wait for the limelight. Don't look for the searchlight. Don't try to be in the spotlight. Take laser focus on things that are just out of your present reach, but not out of your present sight. Get a long-range dream, break it down into Olympic bite-sized pieces, and take a daily dose every day by moving yourself incrementally onto your goal and give yourself a reward. That's why when working with the Olympic athletes, I help them visualize by using visual motor behavioral rehearsal. And what is that? The Olympians practice more off the field than they do on the field. But practice makes permanent. So what they do is practice winning off the field when you can fall and hurt yourself on the field. So they use this marvelous GPS to stay focused on the goal. And the best goals the Olympians have that I know are 90 days. Why? The length of the season, 3 months, quarterly report. In a month, maybe you can't do it, but in 3 months you can. But just remember, focus is the engine that powers our life. And when your why, your belief, and your responsibility are big enough, you'll make a commitment instead of just an affirmation to do it. The fourth ring is something that I've come to be very, very aware of, and that's called discipline, or doing within when you're doing without. I suppose you know that the most important thing you can do is train your brain on the direction that you're going instead of where you're coming from. I'm sure you understand that your brain cannot take you away from being late. Your brain cannot make you procrastinate less. Your brain cannot make you not be loud, not be late, not be this. Your brain can only take you in the direction of your currently dominant thought. The most important Olympic characteristic is the ability to know that practice makes permanent. And you must be able to do within when you're without. And that's called visual motor behavioral rehearsal. And visualization is done in a very specific way. Since most images are images instead of words, the most powerful thing you can do is get an immediate picture of what you want. Then you surround it with other graphics. You surround it with words that are descriptive. You surround it with feelings of emotion. So you take this visual motor behavioral rehearsal and you do it through your own eyes. So the Olympians, we put a camera on their skis. We put a camera so they can see the practice run through their own eyes. And they do it over and over and over. And finally, they go back to their room, and in the quiet of their room, they go over the exact right run that would make them an Olympian. So when you practice the right stuff, what you want, where you're going specifically, the brain has an incredible ability to cross over the old surface streets and the roadblocks and give you a freeway to your destination. Brain training usually will take you maybe 6 months to a year. So don't look for a 21-day turnaround. Don't look for a retreat to make you better. Take the long term. If you do it for a year, you'll have it forever. So don't be discouraged if you don't hit the target right away, but keep incrementalizing, keep stair-stepping, keep rewarding yourself with a small thing. But remember, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is practice, and practice makes permanent. Habits are not broken, they're replaced. You layer a new habit on top of the old one. So don't try to stop what you're doing. Put a new brain train confirmation on top and be repetitive over a period of 6 months. And like a song, like driving your car or brushing your teeth, you'll own it forever. The fifth Olympic ring is called synergy, or being a team player. And being a team player is what I want to be right now. I want to be more inclusive. I want to listen more than I talk. I want to ask questions rather than present. I don't want a big ego. It's not all about money for me. For me, it's giving more in value than I receive in payment. So I understand that at my age, I've had a lot of prejudice. I've had a lot of opinions. And some of my beliefs are not as true today as I thought they were when I was young. So I'm opening my mind to the inputs that other people have, and I'm learning as I go. I have a strong internal belief, strong spiritual belief, and I make room for others. And I'm learning to ask questions, to be quiet, and to take in what other people do and say. And I'm making sure that everything I say on a tweet, on an Instagram, on Facebook, in an email is something positive. I will never use any internet connection to complain, to rant and rave. I will only use it to help other people with what they want to achieve in their lives, which makes me better because I want to plant shade trees under which I myself will never sit. And my only mission in life is to make a difference in other people's life, which makes me feel totally rich inside. Do I want to make enough money? Of course I do. I want to live independently. I want these golden years to be my own. I want to have dignity. I want to help my grandchildren with passion projects. But what I want to do most of all in life is have my life matter because I made a difference in my loved ones and in everyone that I came in contact with. And that's why I think being a team player is looking at my bag, my blessings, my little achievements, my own goals, and then taking action every day to be a team player with the rest of the world. I want to stand out while fitting in. And in conclusion, I know I may have gone over a little bit, but I sure want to give you something that maybe you can take home from me. I'm 87 years old, but I want to be 57. I want to live to be 100. I want to see what's unfolding. I want to help as many people. And when you're old enough to know that time is so precious, I have a sense of nowness. I have a sense of urgency. I see it, I do it. I think it, I do it. I'm not putting things on layaway anymore. I'm just taking action. And that's the most important thing is to take action in your life by doing instead of stewing. Instead of watching television, other people making money, having fun, get involved and do it. So here's my closing statement to you as the guy that used to train Olympians, used to train astronauts, and work with prisoners of war. When I was very young, I thought I could be anything, have anything. I wished upon a star and saw myself go everywhere throughout the world without a care. But somehow in between, I asked myself, could it be, should I see all this for me? And now at last I know what kept my sights too low were simply childhood fears I learned so long ago. How do we know that the face in the mirror reflects how we really feel? How do we know that our dreams are real? Who can we turn to? Who do we trust to overcome our fears year after year? So many questions, looking for answers, so many voices from youth, so many years of watching and waiting, and finally a moment of truth. The secret to living the Olympic dream that's inside you is really quite simple to find. Give all your attention to what's here before you. Leave all of your failures behind. Cherish the loved ones around you. Stay true to the friendships you share. Let health and abundance surround you and dream as big as you possibly dare. Imagine that all you desire and hold dear is asking permission from you to appear. I'm telling you, this is your moment. This is your year. Don't wait for the future. It's already here. God bless you all and thank you for letting me share the old ideas, from someone who's been around for a long time. I'll tell you, this is the best time to have ever been alive in history, and I'm so grateful that you've given me the opportunity to share with you some thoughts, some opinions from a guy that has a lot to learn and still is as curious as a child.
Thank you so much, Dennis. That was really amazing. I know a lot of people who are watching. We've been seeing a lot of people who are commenting, a lot of people who have been raving about your quotes. There's so many people who have just been giving quotes. Whenever you say something amazing, they just quote right back to you. So this was very amazing. So if anyone has any questions for Dennis for a little bit, make sure to comment it below. We have a lot of people who are sharing again a lot of your quotes of what you just said. I know I have 3 pages worth of notes on my own notebook, and it's amazing the way that you shared the different rings, the 5 rings of and it's my brain right now feels so calm and also at the same time I want to take action. So yeah, we have a bunch of people. Some people who are watching you have been like reading your books. I've been watching your listening to audio. We have one of our speakers, actually, Rach David. She's been saying that she's first heard you 30 years ago, and she's really glad that she's been able to tune in and listen to you now. So a lot of Filipinos, you've inspired a lot of Filipinos today.
Oh, that's great. You know, I really appreciate it. I'm able to watch some of the comments, and I really appreciate them very much. You know, I feel young. I'm learning a lot. And one thing about training the brain for sure is you really can rewire your brain even at my age. Believe it or not, I can rewire an 87-year-old brain to walk more straight, not to look down, to walk purposefully and not fall, to remember more and to put more in my memory and not just lose it. So I'm able to do this my whole life. So think what we have to do. Look at all of you who are young, what you can do. You can actually create a freeway where there used to be a roadblock, and do that by repetition, by being very specific and being so passionate that the motion is the thing that will link. That'll do it. If you're emotionally and committed, it'll do it. But if you just make a statement in the mirror and just affirm it, or go to a seminar, or want to get rich quick, it won't happen. Almost all wealth has come out of adversity. And that's probably my most important statement, is that when things are going bad, that's when the winners start solving problems.
Yep. There's a new quote that I just wrote down. Again, really, really amazing insight. And like I said before, I've the first time that I actually come across you was actually from The Secret, and that's something that inside of our company right now, everyone in our company is required to watch it. So I know some of the people who because I shared your video to almost anyone that I go like, hey, listen to this, appreciate, and like we see a lot of people commenting still. God bless you, amazing soul. We have people. Some people have say that they have your book. So again, it's a great honor to be sharing kind of a virtual stage with you, being able to hear a lot of your insights, and a lot of what you said is definitely something that a lot of people really wanted to hear. A lot of it was something that people need to hear today, especially as we're kind of trying to get better, trying to get out, try to find our quote unquote new normal. We're just getting a lot of thank yous for inspiring us today.
Well, people need to bring the A game right now. In other words, this is the time to be at your best. So one last thing is, I wrote my best work at the worst time in my life. So instead of having to be successful and then talk about how great you were and what you did, how much money you made, I wrote the best thing I've ever written for me, to see what I needed to do to make my life better. So instead of writing about my success, I've been telling myself what I need to do to become more successful. But I want to thank especially Celia. I want to thank the Freedom Summit. I want to thank all of you for making this incredible event possible. And I want to especially thank her for giving me the honor of appearing a day late and $1 short. But nonetheless, that was a senior moment. I hope I don't have too many senior moments. And believe me, I'm not buying any green bananas. I'm buying ripe bananas, and I'm living in the now. I'm living in the moment, but not for the moment.
That is beautiful, and you are definitely. And I know that you made already joke of your name, but you were definitely worth the wait. It was very much awesome that you were still able to come in and be again inspire a lot of Filipinos. So one person actually asks, how do you get how to get ourselves always motivated every day if we're an introvert or we lack being able to socialize? What would be a good piece of advice for from a question from Celine Liu?
Well, one of the first things to do is, of course, is when you go to sleep at night, make sure you don't go to sleep watching the evening news. So make sure you go to sleep on something positive and happy, which I do every night. Then I lay in my bed for 5 or 10 minutes and think about how grateful I am for something that happened that day. So when I wake up in the morning, I always say, safe again, Dennis, let's go. What are we going to do with this day? And I never wake up to an alarm, because an alarm means there's a fire or something bad that's going to happen. So I wake up to beautiful music, and I make sure that the early thoughts are positive thoughts. And I don't waste the first little part of the day by checking the news or what bad has happened. I spend very little time only on a need-to-know basis for news, because I think to stay motivated, first thing you have to do is make sure that beautiful music, what you're watching at night, the kind of programs you're watching things that are goal achieving instead of tension relieving. Make sure that when you're talking to people that you're talking in terms of what you're going to do and how it's going to happen. And check yourself during the day for the amount of negative self-talk that you're doing to yourself as a negative coach, but also in the things you're saying to other people. So instead of spreading bad news, spread the good news that you're able to offer on how it helps someone. That's another thing. And throughout the day, ask yourself this question: is what I'm doing right now taking me and those close to me closer to what I want? Or am I beginning to drift away and let what's happening out there drive me? Hang around with optimists, of course. Make sure that at least at lunch or sometime during the day, you're hanging around people with similar goals rather than similar problems. Because you don't want pity parties, group griping, and grudge collecting. What you want to do is get together with a group who's moving forward rather than trying to hold back. And those are good ways to stay motivated. But I make sure that I hang around people who are probably more successful than I am, because that motivates me.
That is amazing, and I love again another full page of notes, and I love that you said similar goals and not similar problems. It's very easy for us to misery loves company. It's easy for us to get dragged down to other people who feel a little bit confused, a little bit mad of everything that's kind of happening. But if you do surround yourself with people with similar goals, it's easier to get out of that. Does anyone else have any more questions, any more favorite things to share with Dennis while we have him? Okay, so a lot of people are asking, Dennis, do you have a social media account that you're active on?
I'm not as active in social media as I should, but I am on LinkedIn, of course, and I am on Facebook. And I have a fan page and a Facebook page, and I need to be on it more. I must tell you, I need to be on it more. I've been doing webinars all over the world, but I've been doing mostly on Zoom, and so I'm not as Facebook friendly as I was, but I am now. So you'll find me more friendly, and I'm going to have a free site that's called Winning for Life on my Facebook, where everyone can come in and they don't need to buy anything, because I'm not trying to sell people things. I'm trying to help people. So I'm more interested in sharing, because, when you give your value, you don't lose it. You still have it. So knowledge and money are just the same. When you have money, it doesn't do you any good to have it. It only does you good to employ it and to utilize it while you're alive. It doesn't do any good to have knowledge unless you share it. But when you share it, you still have it. So that's what I'm doing in life. I'm trying to help my grandchildren with their passion, but not give them a lot of money when I die. I'm trying to help them with little passions as they go that are so important to them that it's not a car, but it's a passion project for their future. And that excites me to be able to spend my money on worthy causes all over the world. What a great thing it is to go out naked the same way I came in. You have to time it just right because you have to save enough in case I do live to be 100. But I'm telling you, I'm so excited about life. And I really do believe it. I'm not Pollyanna. So I'm not looking at life through rose-colored glasses. I'm very much of a realist. And I'm very much of someone who is action-oriented. But I always believe, what's the answer? Because I know the problem.
Yeah, that's so. For anyone who wants to join in and follow Dennis everywhere, he actually has, inside of the Freedom Summit website, he actually has a profile where you guys will find all of his social media, and I'll try to comment it in a little bit also in the chat so you guys can follow him. But any other questions? Just again, a lot of people are just, I hope this, someone, Maricel asks, I hope this is recorded. So this will be on the Freedom Summit page. You guys can rewatch it. Dennis started at the 1 hour mark. So you guys can go back and rewatch and rewatch. I know I will be rewatching this over and over again.
Well, there's one more thing, and that is a lot of people don't realize that when an Olympian or a prisoner of war or an astronaut practice, they don't realize that the same muscles fire in the same sequence. In other words, muscle memory is something that creates a habit pattern that creates your ability to remember to do it over and over again. So when you see a beautiful performance, it's a result of muscle memory over a period of 1 or 2 or 3 years. So it becomes like driving your car, brushing your teeth. So whenever you're practicing success, muscle memory is being created, and the muscles are actually going through, not only in your brain, but in your body, that same sequence, which is why Olympians, violinists, pianists, dancers, people can recreate the performance by remembering it. So you don't try to win, you remember what you've learned. You don't do what you know, you do what you've learned. And what you've learned is observation, imitation, repetition, internalization. You observe role models, you internalize by practicing what they do. The more you practice it with passion, it internalizes it. And finally, it's you. You become virtual reality by the amount of practice you put in to the role. So make sure you understand that you're practicing winning and not reinforcing losing.
That's awesome. It's amazing. Another full page of notes. You're just giving a lot of really good insights. As someone who is only 24 years old, I am learning a lot from you. I'm learning a lot from the time that was given. And again, I am very honored to be actually talking to you. I'm internally freaking out, but I'm keeping it calm, keeping it cool. So again, we would like to thank you, Dennis, for coming in, for again, being so much worth the wait, even though you're already delayed. We are grateful that you were here and that you were able to share a lot of your insights to a lot of Filipinos who are, some of them are crying right now. So, again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It really is an honor to be with you. And I love what you do. And I love the Philippines and all of the areas that you're serving, everyone who's watching. It's the greatest area of the world because it's the area of the future. And I love to be where the future is, especially with young people.
Awesome. So again, thank you, Dennis. I know a lot of people are going to be rewatching this and rewatching it again. Again, if you guys want to rewatch everything, he starts at the 1 hour mark. I made sure to take note of it myself so I can rewatch it. So thank you, Denis Waitley.
Right. And thanks to all of you, and God bless all of you.